I was able to read the Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker novelization yesterday, so you can expect some videos over the next few days discussing some of the larger elements relating to Palpatine, his contingency plan, and some of the other questions we looked at before the release of the film. But I wanted to start off our discussions by explaining an interesting piece of lore that was included in the novelization that explained the massive mechanical device that was supporting the Sith Lord on Exegol, which was one of the first visuals we saw of Palpatine in the trailer. I'll do a full video on Palpatine's contingency plan that would see him survive the Battle of Endor and then get himself into the unknown regions, but it goes without saying that when he was finally located on Exegol by Kylo Ren and then Rey, the Emperor was quite literally a shell of himself. While his consciousness and power with the Force was immeasurable, Palpatine was losing the battle for his physical existence, a product of his hurried attempt to survive as events were unfolding and the imperfectness of his plan to save himself by the time of Episode 6. As described by Kylo in the novel, when first seeing Palpatine's appearance, if it wasn't for the power emanating from him, Kylo wouldn't even have known he was alive. The Emperor's flesh was putrid and rotting, having been removed completely from certain areas like melting candle wax. Physically, Palpatine was unspeakably weak and frail, and even Rey easily recognized that as the skin barely clung together, covered in oozing sores, the Emperor's physical form was insufficient to contain his devastating power. But even before Kylo and Rey noticed these physical attributes of Palpatine, they noticed something else: the enormous mechanism upon which Palpatine was dangling from. They knew that given his physical weaknesses, the machinery was needed to allow the Sith Lord to move. And fortunately for us, Kylo Ren immediately recognized exactly what this device was. As revealed in the novelization, Kylo's study of the Sith, both through his training under Snoke and when researching clues about Vader's Wayfinder, meant that he'd seen the massive mechanism before. It was called an Ommin harness, described as a mechanical spine that had once been worn by an ancient Sith king, and for Palpatine, it was required for him to survive. The interesting aspect here is the connection the device has to the Legends lore, specifically King Ommin of Onderon, who the device has now been named after in canon. In Legends, seen within the Tales of the Jedi comic, living 4,000 years before the era of the films, King Ommin was powerful in the ways of the dark side, having been trained in the teachings of the Sith and boasting a lineage that included the powerful Sith Lord Freedon Nad, who lived only a few centuries before him. But important for our video here, just as Palpatine's power in the dark side was destroying his physical body, which was already imperfect from his beginnings on Exegol, the dark side resulted in the slow decay of Ommin's body as well. Because of this, the king would have a metal exoskeleton constructed to support him. Just like Palpatine's device allowed him to enjoy mobility that he wouldn't have had otherwise, the same could be said about Ommin, granting his physical body some stability from the destructive nature of the dark side. Therefore, the connection between Ommin's mechanical device and Palpatine's are almost identical, and it makes sense why it would be named after Ommin given his story in Legends. The other interesting aspect is that in Legends, Palpatine knew about King Ommin and his story, as revealed within the Darth Plagueis novel. During his early apprenticeship under Plagueis, Palpatine wondered if the dark side might destroy his body. As Plagueis would inform his apprentice that the dark side shouldn't be feared in that way and welcomed by a true Sith, he also pointed out that Palpatine knew the lore on the subject, which did include King Ommin of Onderon. So if this element of Palpatine's early training was introduced back into canon, it would make sense that he knew about such a device once he was on Exegol. This is the first mention of King Ommin within canon, so we can now add this character to the list of Sith from Legends who've made it back into canon through Episode 9, along with other characters like Revan. Again, I have a lot of videos planned that'll provide a full look at the important details behind Episode 9 and the sequel trilogy, particularly as they connect to the prequel and original trilogies. But I wanted to start with a bit of lore since we now have the ancient Sith King Ommin and at least a small part of his lore back within the canon. Please don't hesitate to let me know what you think of the character being brought into canon through Episode 9 down in the comments section below, as I'd love to hear what you think. So there we have it, the ancient Sith mechanical device used by Palpatine on Exegol. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... for free on NAD.